Hi everyone and welcome to Reading Nation. My name's Pete Goss. I'm the School Education Program Director at the Grattan Institute. But more important for now, I'm the convener of this initiative that we call Reading Nation, which is a small group of volunteers with a big idea. The other people you can see on the screen are some of the other fantastic volunteers that we have. We have, give everyone a quick wave, Betty Kitchener, Ken Taggart, and Paula from the Smith family. I'm going to provide a brief overview of the Reading Nation idea for about 5 minutes. Ken is going to show you how the Chatty Kids website works, which is the website that makes all of this possible. And then we'll raise a few of the frequently asked questions that come up for either parents of young readers or for reading buddies who are going to be involved in this program. So the origin of this idea, Reading Nation, is something that I had about 5 or 6 weeks ago. We're at the end of April now, so that was towards the end of March as the world was starting to shut down. I've been aware of the power of what are called paired reading programs for quite some time. They're very simple programs where a young reader, sometimes in early primary school through to late primary school, reads out loud to an older student or to an adult. And that process of reading out loud with a supportive person on the other end has proven educational value. This is often done for disadvantaged students or struggling readers. And there are some fantastic programs out there, including one run by the Smith family called Student to Student, and they're part of our consortium. But right at the moment, with the world going through this COVID social distancing phase, it's not just a small number of struggling readers or disadvantaged young people who need extra reading, it's every primary school student. Not only is it every primary school student, their parents are often struggling with dealing at home when they're not used to and having to juggle either work or home duties with providing support to their children. And that's tough. They need a break. And the third part of this is that there is an army of volunteers in Australia and around the world who are really keen to be involved and do something useful, but they can't get out there and help face to face in the way they normally could. So I put those three things, one and one and one together, and came up with the answer of 1,000 or 10,000 or 100,000 and said, in fact, could we offer this program to every primary school student in Australia? And the answer is yes, in theory we can, and that's what we're trying to do. The way that the model works is that we will source volunteers. We'll start off with pre-service teachers, people who are teachers in training. We will make sure that all of those volunteers have a working with children check, which means they're safe. And then we will provide them some training in how to use this simple protocol. At the same time, we will promote the idea first through schools and then more broadly to say to parents, is this something that your child might benefit from, that you might benefit from by getting a break, let's say after school as you're trying to prepare dinner? And that for the next few months, while social distancing is happening, so let's say until the end of June 2020, this will be completely free. The volunteers will provide their time, we will match them together. Now this is possible because Ken, as he will show you, has a website that is designed to do exactly this. He's run that as a commercial service for a while, but he is putting that up for this project on a cost recovery basis. The rest of us are putting in our time as volunteers to make this offering as widely available as it can be. So where do you fit? If you're a parent watching this, we want you to just understand how the model works, get a bit of a feel for the people who are behind this idea, and then just see how the website works. Because having expressed your interest, you should already have got an email that says, here is how to go onto the website and your username. If you're a reading volunteer, a buddy, you should have, once you've expressed your interest, we will be checking your working with children check. As soon as we have that confirmed, you will get your username for the Chatty Kids website. You can go along and play around, get to use it. And then as quickly as we can put it together, we will pair up a reading buddy with a young reader the reading buddy will get in touch with the parent, get the first call happening, and get going your part of Reading Nation. So that is my overview. I'm going to hand to Ken, who's going to demonstrate how his wonderful website works.
Okay, hi everyone, I'm Ken, and today we're going to have a quick look at the Chatty Kids platform. So here you can see the Chatty Kids platform. You log in with the username and password, and you'll see this screen. You can click into the library, and then you can drill down into the library. We've got books that have been organized into year bands, so it helps users to then know, my kid's in grade 2, what books are there, and you can then drill down into a grade and you'll start to see the levels. So you can see there's level 1, level 2, and I can drill down into a level, and you see we've got lots of books each level. And that's fundamentally what this library is about, because when you're learning with level readers, you want lots of level readers to practice with. When you've decided on the book you'd like to look at, you can select the book, it opens up, and then I can change the page. Now then, when I am in a call, I can call my buddy, I can click out the window, and I can press the call button. I'm not going to call that now because it causes a bit of feedback on Zoom. And when we're on a call, the library is automatically connected. So it's just like any Skype call or Zoom call. We can see each other. We've turned off the video for child safety at the moment. So you'll just be able to hear each other like a telephone call. And then the book library is synchronized. So when you choose a book, the kid sees the book. When you change a page, the kid sees the page change. And then it allows the two of you to read the same text. And you use the pause, prompt, praise method to then help the child learn to read. And that just means that then you don't jump in and finish a word for a student when he's then struggling, but you then encourage them to try and use some sort of technique to decode the word, sound it out, for example. And then when they've then sounded out the word and got it correct, you praise them. You say, well done, great, and you move along. And we'll be sending you some material as well that helps you to then use the pause, prompt, praise methodology. So that's it for the Chatty Kids platform. I'll hand back to Pete to finish off.
Thank you, Ken. It looks really simple to use, and that is because it is really simple to use. It is designed to provide access to a range of books. Ken, if you can bring up some of the more difficult books, they start with the very earliest readers, but they go to more sophisticated books. This is not for people reading Harry Potter. This stops before that. But actually, even as children get more advanced in their reading, then there are real benefits from the process of reading out loud. It actually activates something in the brain and has real benefits. It's not about teaching children to read. We have teachers who are part of our volunteer network, and we all recognise that teaching children to read is a really highly skilled process. What this is about, though, it's about fostering the love of reading. It's about keeping the routine and making sure that that reading is actually happening. And the learning happens through the process of reading with appropriate support when children are learning materials that are not so easy that they don't make any mistakes, not so hard that they struggle on every word, but where they know most of the words, and then each time there's a few they don't know, but they'll know them next time. So that not too hard, not too easy approach is, again, well supported in the educational space. But what programs like this have shown around the world is that this approach, even with a volunteer who is not a teacher, can make a real difference. And in this crazy time of COVID, we see this, it's about fostering the love of reading. It's about supporting parents. It's about building connection with volunteers. So if you're a parent, we would hope that you find this useful. We would hope that you encourage your young reader, or more than one young reader if you've got more than one child of that age, to engage, to enjoy. Have it on in the background when you're listening or preparing dinner so that you can hear the conversation, but those conversations are recorded. We are taking the electronic safety very seriously here. If you are a reading buddy, a volunteer, the thing that you are offering is consistency, and support. If you say that you're going to be there at 3 o'clock on Monday, Wednesday and Friday for 20 minutes to 30 minutes for the next term, that's what we need you to do. Because young readers, well, in fact, everybody, but particularly young readers, really need and value routine. And so that's one of the things that we hope to be helping to give back. Now, there have been a number of questions that I won't necessarily have covered or Ken won't have covered. So Betty is going to jot in some of the most frequently asked questions, and I will read them out. How do I get a username and password to log into Chatty Kids? Over to you, Ken.
Okay, so we have then published and promoted a webpage where you can register, which you have already done, and you may not have yet done yet because you've just started to look into this project. But once you've completed that form, you go into our database, and then we take you through a process, depending on if you're a parent or if you're a volunteer, and then eventually you do get a username and password to the Chatty Kids sent to you. So, for example, the volunteer, we have to check your working with children check. Then once you've passed those various checks, we then send you a username and password. And then eventually, once we've paired a volunteer to a student, you get an email then introducing you to yourselves.
Perfect. Next question from Paula. Do I need to use a specific browser to access the Chatty Kids platform?
Okay then, it works across iPads, phones and computers, but it's better to use a larger screen or a tablet device. Phones, the text very small. And on a PC, I would use Chrome or Firefox. And on an Apple machine, I would use Safari.
And the way that it works, Ken, if I got it right, is that you both are looking at the same book, but only one person at a time can turn the pages so that it doesn't become mayhem. Is that right?
Correct. In the early days, we didn't have that feature enabled or developed, and both people were trying to select a book at the same time. The screen got a bit crazy. So we've changed it so that one person is in charge. And by default, the person who called the other person is in charge. And then during the call, you can swap control.
And in case you're wondering, we're also building up some volunteer resources for people who really understand how the platform works, not on a technological level, just how to make it work in practice, and also understand what we are hoping to do on an educational level, which again, it's not teaching, but there is a protocol there. And so we are building up that support network so that you will have someone who you can turn to if and when you have questions. So, the next question that we've had from some trainee primary teachers, we suggested that you might need to do 2 to 3 hours of preparation work before being ready. Thank you for flagging that. Joining an information session or watching this video is the first part of that. Updating your Working with Children check to say that you'll be working with the Reading Nation program is the next part. There are a couple more specific training modules that we would be hoping that you would look at, and Paula is pulling those together. They'll start off as PowerPoint, and then we'll put them into some very simple videos. That's maybe about half an hour's worth, just to really confirm. There is a protocol here. It's not about completely freelancing, but actually it's a fairly simple one. And then the last bit of that is actually to schedule the first reading session with the parent of your reading buddy, and then to get going. So in fact, it's probably a lot less than 2 to 3 hours. The commitment after that is about 1 hour a week. So that's 2 to 3 reading sessions, 20 to 30 minutes each time. Young readers can't do an awful lot more than that, but that is enough to provide some huge benefit. Our next specific question on the logistics. A lot of parents have said, how does the first reading session get set up? What do I have to do as a parent? Ken.
Okay, so what will happen is that you will receive emails, and we will then send you details of your user account and also supporting materials and training materials that you can then review and then get in and explore the library and select books and read books with your kid. Now then, the first call will happen when the volunteer will call you on your mobile phone. We'll introduce you both by email, and they will call you on your mobile phone to arrange that first call. And during that call, that volunteer will then walk you through logging into the Chatty Kids platform and that first call together, where you then are on the mobile, call each other, confirm it's working, end the mobile call. Right, this is Chatty Kids, we're then selecting books and it's all working. Then you arrange your schedule with them on that early phone call and arrange appointment times. You do exactly that. You log into Chatty Kids and the volunteer will ring you on the Chatty Kids platform and you answer and read books together.
And as I keep emphasising, the regularity and the routine are part of the success of this. So we hope that with the reading buddy and the parents, that we hope that those pairs will be able to find a time, a regular time each week that works for them. If that doesn't work out, nobody's fault. Get back in touch with us and we will try and find you a pair so that you can get a time that works. Now, we are in the very early days of this. It's currently the 28th of April. We have pushing 150 readers and young readers and reading buddies, and we're looking to grow that. We're going to take it steadily. We'll do it as fast as we can, but not too fast, because we want to make sure our process works. So we've had a number of questions from saying, could I join this in 4 weeks' time? Our goal is to look to scale this up, and if we do, then there will be no shortage of opportunities to volunteer, and then we hope we will be able to find enough volunteers for every parent who wants one. Next question, and I might make this the last question because there will be other things, but we'll put frequently asked questions on the website. But what about if a family has more than one child, say a child in year 1 and a child in year 3, both of whom are suitable? How does that work, Ken?
Okay, so when you register on the webpage as a new parent, one of the form fields will ask you how many children you want to then have be part of this program. You select an option, say 2, and then we will get in touch with you to then start to find out about the kids and allocate volunteers to spend time online reading with those different children.
And so that, I think, goes to one of the questions that comes up most often that I will pose, which is when we ask you for data, what do we need that data for? And the answer is, we ask the data in order to make this process read. We need to know how many children you have, and we need to know roughly what ages they are, partly to help with the selecting of books. We need to understand the working with children check information for the volunteers to make sure that there is that level of security. The purposes of those information are to bring together an appropriate reading volunteer, reading buddy, with a young reader, to link them together, to get reading happening. We're not planning on using that information for any commercial purposes. We will be very careful about that. What we want to do is get together a reading nation, and we hope that whether you're a reading buddy or the parent of a young reader, we hope that you participate. We hope that you get a great amount out of it, promote it to other people, and we hope that you keep safe and healthy through this unusual time that we're all living in. Thank you.